More money, no problem, no problem. 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 When I see myself, I see abundance. My very nature is abundance. Endless breaths I take on daily. Heart is beating countlessly for me every second of the day. My own body is proof and is evidence that abundance is my birthright, my very nature. I am creating my healthy money story, a wealthy glory. My vibe is my currency. Money flows to me whether I work for it or not. That feels so good to say. I walk into situations designed to serve me. I stay in the flow of serendipity. I think, I feel, and then I experience. I am a master of money. With my words and actions, I can open and access large streams of wealth and income. I keep my mind focused on what I desire. I enjoy multiple streams of income. I enjoy multiple streams of income. I enjoy multiple streams of income. And what's so bossy is I'm experiencing it before it gets here in this realm. I release all fears of money. Thank you to all my limiting childhood stories about money. I love you and I release you forever. My bank account never seems to stop growing. Who taught me scarcity? Who taught me lack? Who taught me unworthiness of financial stability, wealth generating energy, and lavish abundance? I ask the necessary questions to dismantle what I am believing about my coins. Look at me. I'm a whole yes to my coins. Hey. More money, no problem, no problem. 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 My energy is my money vault. Although I'm a human dealing with human challenges, I am conscious enough to manage my vibe and root into my center no matter the challenge, no matter the seeming lack, no matter the amount I attract, my needs will always be met. Thank you to all the companies that bill me. I am grateful for your services that contribute to my everyday life. I unguard myself. I disarm my mind and I allow love to conquer power games with money. I love hearing myself laugh at seemingly lack. Like, me and lack, it's a joke. It's humorously impossible. I am only responsible for the energy I put out. I am not responsible for how others receive it because I am getting these coins. More money, no problem, no problem. 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 I'm about counting coins, not counting other people's triggers. It's a yes coin season. I appreciate the money that I have, no matter whether I'm rich, wealthy, or working on it. I am content that I am the wealth. I am the abundance. I choose to participate in life-altering activities. My efforts are bossy. I feel that abundant source of wealth, health, and prosperity. Look at me. Look at me. Looking like I caught a grip. I am really the one. I am really the one that gets to do this, that gets to love and heal my relationship with money and my family. The crazy part is I know I don't have to burn out for that coin. I don't have to burn out for that coin. Like, I know I have a whole spiritual network employed to plotting on my money and abundance thrive. The whole universe is rigged in my favor. I know this. I feel this. I am this. I think this. I receive and accept this. I work this. Therefore, I rest in trusting this. More money, no problem, no problem. 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 Ladies, let's get these coins. Let's get it.
All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Black Mama Creative Week. Let me know in the comments if you can hear us. I am going to bring everyone else up to the live. Thank you so much for joining us again. Let me know in the comments if you can hear us. I want to make sure that you all can hear us. Just type yes in the comments, I can hear you, or the number one, whichever one works for you. Hey, Nikisha. Now I can't hear you.
Try that off mute.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hey, boo.
Hey, and welcome to our guest. Welcome, Angel.
Hey, Angel.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you with us.
I'm happy to be here. So happy.
Yes, welcome to the Black Mama Magic Room. This is actually our final live of the week. So it's a special moment. Thank you so much for joining us. And tonight we're going to be talking to Angel about audio dramas, which is really, really popping off in podcasting. Angel has a podcast entitled The Mermaid and The Lion. And you just started a new audio drama called
The Forgiven.
The Forgiven, right. Yes. So before we jump into it, I always like to tell you all about Black Mama Magic Week, just in case those who are watching, or if you're catching the replay. Black Mama Magic, in case those who are watching or catching the replay don't know what it's about. I'm super excited because we had a big win today that we can't talk about. But
I was like, don't say that's like, a tease.
It's a huge tease. But my energy is like, yeah. But Black Mama Creative Week is just basically the last 8 days of June. We just celebrate the ingenuity and creativity of Black motherhood and Black Mama creatives. And we also get to talk to some really, really dope Black Mama creatives throughout the week. So that's like what Black Mama Creative Week is in a nutshell. And our theme this year was Black Imagination. Shout out to Lucille Clifton, who said, "We cannot create what we cannot imagine." And her birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
That was our theme. For Black Mama Creative Week. And again, that's why I'm really excited to talk to Angel, because she has taken this podcast space and really kind of expanded what we can do in this space. So I'm super excited to speak with her. So we're going to pull from the Black Mama Magic card deck. Is that me or no?
That was me. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. If you haven't already, tag some of your friends about this live if you're on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, let them know that we're live, and share it to your page so more people can experience the magic. Don't keep the magic to yourself. Don't be selfish.
It's going down in the Black Mama Magic Room. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, Tracy. Angel really is a GOAT when it comes to podcasting, because let me tell you something.
Don't say that.
Let me tell you something about podcasting, okay? Sound is everything. And this is coming from people that when we started out, we like to say our sound was like Tyra Weave, season 1, America's Next Top Model. And sometimes it goes back there. Sometimes it goes back there.
True.
And so yeah, you're really the GOAT when it comes to that. I am getting an echo when I speak. Does anyone else hear it?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just me. All right. Okay, so let's pull from the deck and let's get into it after we pull from the deck. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see what we've been doing. Today's June 27th. Let's do the 27th card. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
What number are you going for?
27.
Oh.
Okay. And people in the chat are being so nice, and so I want to say thank you.
She's the mermaid of all time. I love it.
Yes, Leroy. That's it.
Thank you, Harlem.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Hi,
The
Marty.
27th card in my deck, because my deck is all shuffled. It's a mixture of
All
two
right.
decks. So it says, it's all about you.
Okay.
Dear Mama, we know you're making sure everyone else's needs are met, but take some time to center yourself today. What do you need in this moment? What is your soul craving? Your body, your heart. Do something that makes you smile, then do it again. Then make a list of the ways you can pamper your soul, body, and heart. Commit to doing something on that list daily. Save your best stuff for yourself. Center yourself. You are worthy of your own time and adoration. Oh,
I love that. I love that.
I'll take it. Yes.
That
All
card,
right.
that card is so timely for me because something amazing happened today, and I was trying to figure out how to celebrate myself. I was like, "Ooh, how do I celebrate myself?" So that was a good card for me. That was a good card. So
Have you figured it out? Make sure you take some
figured it
time.
out.
Okay, good.
I took a nap and I bought myself my favorite candy and just like rested and kind of relished in, the goodness of what happened today. So
that's a really sweet treat. Good for you.
Yeah. So this is like one of my favorite parts. Whenever we do our podcast or whenever we go live, we call this the receipt portion. Mm-hmm. Where we read folks' bio, and this is like giving a Black woman her flowers so she can hear all the things that she's done, because sometimes we don't realize how much we've done. So here we go. Angel Forte. Am I saying that correctly, Angel?
That is absolutely right. Yes.
Okay. Angel Forte is a lover of all things podcasting, especially audio dramas. Her love for storytelling brought her from writing novellas. How do you say that?
Novellas. Like telenovela.
Yeah, like it's a short novel, novellas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To writing and producing audio dramas with her husband, Gazza. Their flagship scripted podcast, The Mermaid and The Lion, reached a surprising success and inspired the start of their new production company, Mermaid-Lion Entertainment LLC, which focuses on highlighting the voices and stories of people of color. Their most recent production is a passion project called The Forgiven, Bible Scandals Retold.
That's the one. That is only the one. Let me tell you, honey. What?
In a more modern setting, focusing on forgiveness in a cancel culture. If passionate about audio dramas were a person, it would definitely be Angel. Her passion and drive has initiated the creation of 3 new audio dramas, which are all slated to be released by summer 22.
Wait a minute. When do you sleep? What?
We don't sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
And listen, producing an audio drama is no joke because, with the regular podcast, you find a guest or you don't find a guest, you choose a topic. But with audio dramas, you're writing scripts, you're finding actors, and, your tech has to be on point. And Angel, they debut new artists, with the music that they have, they use like original music. So the fact that you're releasing 3 more in 2022, I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Working really, really hard. And it definitely is a community project. So many people support us. We couldn't do it without the support. Like there's some people in here from the Facebook community. They support us, the Patreon folks. Without Patreon here, like you talk about what we need. Let's see if I can get it to spin around. Like all of this equipment.
Oh, wow.
Like Patreon did that for us. And I know I was listening to one of your more recent episodes and you guys were saying the same thing. Your equipment upgrades comes from the community support and it means everything for us. People donating their voices and then donating their cash is how we're able to make it happen.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes people don't know how much it costs to run a podcast. If you really want to give quality content, like if you really want to be a spike on the timeline, as our co-host Thea Monnier would say, who could not be with us tonight because she's a little bit under the weather. I mistakenly sent her the link, so she may pop in because she is an overworker. But I hope that she
rests. Yes.
I'm hoping that she chooses rest and not popping in. But I think people really don't understand, the what goes into that. So shout out to your community for like supporting you and also showing up here with me
Yes.
tonight. Yeah. So
Welcome to the Black Mama
guys.
Magic Room, everyone. Welcome.
Everyone, especially my Black mamas who are in here, you guys definitely need to make sure you check them out. It's such a beautiful experience listening to their shows.
Oh,
thank
thank
you
you for
so
that.
much. So listen, I'm a Gen Xer, born and raised in the
We
South,
are.
and I grew up listening to the Tom Joyner Morning Show. And the Tom Joyner Morning Show, one of the things that they had on Tom Joyner Morning Show was an audio drama called "It's Your World," and I loved "It's Your World." Like it was just. I mean, it was an audio drama. It took you back to the days of, when I was also a film major in college. And so you take a class in film and television. And the start of film and television was really radio and audio drama. Like that's what, kicked everything off. And so when I heard about your podcast, I was like, oh gosh, I have to listen. And then I began searching for more Black audio dramas. And I was like, yo, this
Not
is
that
really,
many.
It's not that many, but I was surprised to find the number that I found. And there's one with Lorenz Tate.
Yeah, that's Bronzeville.
Bronzeville, right? And I mean, and they have some major sponsors. And if you just look at audio dramas in general, the genre is really taking off. And I don't want it to take off without us. So that's why I really, really wanted to have you here tonight.
Yes.
So, thinking about where you were 10 years ago, right?
It's one of our favorite questions. Yeah.
Where were you 10 years ago? And did you think you would be where you are right now?
So I'm going to answer the end first. I had no clue I'd be where I am right now. I was not a film major. I'm a finance major. And before I switched to finance, I was in human resources management and getting a business degree. Right. And then I moved to finance. So 10 years ago, I was a market maker, which is a little different than a stockbroker. I was the actual person on the floor taking the trades from customers and like trading places. That was me 10 years ago.
How cool is that?
It was a really cool job. I'm the only Black woman market maker that I've ever met. I know that others exist in New York and stuff like that, but I worked for a small independent brokerage firm, and it was a really great experience for me.
Wow.
A super great experience. And I had no clue. I thought that I was going to continue to grow in that field and I was going to be rich, but we all know that 2008 came and the market did something real special that changed our whole entire trajectory and outlook. And I moved to, you guys may have heard of it, E-Trade. So easy a baby can do it.
Right.
And I started training other people to pass the licensing exams. And so my career took several twists and turns throughout the space. And I really thought that I was going to end up being like in training, like learning and development. Maybe I would be someone who would, do this a la carte, right? I would start my own business, offer e-learning creation, do voice work, something like that. And then 2019 happened. I was like, oh, I remember my true passion. I want to write. And my husband's really nice. And so he's like, okay, fine. Go. I'll keep the kids entertained on these particular nights a week so that you can finish writing your book. And after it was done, the book is out. And I'm like, I need other ways to promote it. And I was at this point now exposed to podcasts because I learned that the independent writing community is very close to the podcasting community. And I started listening to more podcasts and people were asking me to come on their podcast because they were fans of Release Me. And I'm like, I like this. This is a good medium. But then I didn't want to do it that way. I was like, this is a great medium, but there's only women. Like in all the spaces that I was in, there's only women and we only had our viewpoints and our opinions, but we want to date men. Just so happens, why don't I start a podcast that interviews only men and we get their perspectives and their opinions about sex and relationships, and it's supposed to be a judgment-free zone. And so Dirty Talk was birthed at that time. So I used to go out into the world and pre-COVID and interview guys in places that they hung out. Cigar lounges, nightclubs, barbershops, and I would ask them a series of questions. And then I would find someone who I thought was pretty interesting who lived locally so we could go to the studio together and record an episode that talked about the data that I gathered. Then COVID happened and I wasn't going to be around anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it virtual, but it didn't feel the same. I felt like, number one, the audio wasn't where I was wanting it to be. I'm an audio snob. I can't help myself. So the audio wasn't where I wanted it to be, but I'll listen to other people with bad audio. I just don't want my audio to be bad. So let's put it there. Because if I like your content, I'm going to listen. I'm going to struggle as long as you don't chew on the mic. Anyone who takes food and starts eating while they're recording, I'll immediately cut off the show.
That's real. I'll listen to people with bad audio, but I hate if I can't fix our audio or get it to the level that I want to get it to.
She does.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah.
She's like, she does. You're feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, Dirty Talk died. And I came to my husband basically on hands and knees, like, please, please, please. I started hearing these audio dramas. The first one I heard was by Experience J, and it was called Past Due Audio Series. And it's about this young girl named Kina, and I was totally hooked, and I couldn't find any more. It was so hard. I'm on YouTube, Black audio dramas, top Black audio dramas, and I'm like, where are we? I want to hear more. I need more. And the creators that I became fans of in that time weren't making new content. And then my good friend, she's the author of one of my favorite books, which is called Songs of Solomon, Toni Morrison. I found her quote, and it said, if you don't have the content basically that you want to look to, you don't see a book you want to read, create it yourself. And that is how Mermaid and the Lion started, and really inspired me to beg my husband to let's do this. I often say it's because I want to help young married couples not hit the pitfalls that we're into. That's why I chose Mermaid and the Lion, but audio drama was going to have to come out regardless because I needed more, and more than what was available to me at the time. So many were birthed during COVID, but before then it was not, and there wasn't a lot of independent ones. There was big names, like you said, Lorenz Tate, Issa Rae. Goodness, what's the name of the young lady? She writes a lot of the erotica novels. Hers is called Purple Panties. She's Zane. That's who it was. Like all of these big name folks had audio dramas, but small independent creators, they didn't have a lot. And I just feel like there's some authenticity of when you are out there trying to create from nothing. And that's what I wanted to listen to.
I love that so much because I keep hearing
you are echoing now. Yeah.
Maybe I need to mute.
Am I echoing now? Mm-mm. Okay. All right. I love that because what it shows is like you dreamed a new dream more than one time. When life lifed you, because life will life you, you pivoted. And I think that as mothers, one of our sayings is motherhood is not the graveyard of dreams. That's like the thing that really prompted Black Mama Creative Week. And so I just love that because I think so many times as mothers, when we have children, we feel like we have to put our dreams on hold. We feel like we have to put our dreams aside. But you didn't do that. You just dreamed something new and you remembered your passion. And it's so important to have a partner that really, really supports you. And not only supports you, because you can have a partner that says, sure, you can go ahead and do it. You figure it out. But you had a partner who said, I'm going to watch the kids on these nights so that you can have time to finish and do your thing. And I think what that says is, and this is another connection to Lucille Clifton that I read about recently, is that they understood that this was a part of who you are. Like her children really understood that she was a writer, and that when she was sitting down and writing at her typewriter, not to bother her, they really, really understood that this was an important part of who she was. And so I hear that in your journey. So I love that. I love that.
The other piece of it for us is that we really try and remind our audience or raise their consciousness around the fact that creativity can look a lot of different ways. And we are all creative and we're all creators, and just find the thing that makes your heart sing, that makes you get so excited about it, and go in that direction and make it happen. You will create something the world has never seen before, or you will create that thing that you thirst for that you cannot find. And that sounds like exactly the blueprint that you follow, Angel. So, I mean, you're certified Black Mama. Go ahead.
I'm clicking this total wrong mute button. I'm all like trying to send love, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not. I just have to do signals, hearts and stars and such. But I'm privileged. I know I have to count myself privileged for the space that I'm in and to have such support, because you talked about motherhood and it being the graveyard of dreams, and us really focusing on still honoring that creative part of ourselves. I think that that's incredibly important. And what I've noticed is a lot of the women in my life don't understand why I'm making these particular choices to continue to create, or making creation such as a focal point when I am a mother. They see it as something of neglect versus me needing to do this so that I can be my whole self for my child. What you understand is spending time with your kids. Like, I could spend time with her, but if I'm not wholly happy, if I am not refreshed, and that time with her is not of value, but if I give back to myself, it's all there. It is. Absolutely. And that's something that I have to remember, even if I'm frustrated and I try to put it on, oh, they're from a different generation or whatever that's not true. Actually, maybe they could be happier if I learned how to articulate the benefits of giving back to yourself and not sacrificing your life as a woman for motherhood, because that's not necessary. That's not how God intended it to be. That's not how God intended it to be.
And when you show up as your full self, right? When you're satisfying all those parts of you that really want to shine, then you show up better as a mother. You show up better in every other part of your life, because there's not a piece of you that's effectively dying and wanting to come out and wanting to blossom, and you're pushing it down. So many of us have been taught, though, that that's not good mothering unless our whole world is based around our child. But we've not been taught to look at it from the child's perspective. Your child is seeing you live out your dreams and passions, and that's way more powerful than to see you resentful and sad and mopey, because something in your life is just not making you happy. Yeah.
And taking the time to discover what it is. I think that's part of the problem with us too. Like, we have buried so much of ourselves, like digging it up to find that talent and the energy that it takes to keep digging, and not stopping at that surface. Like, you know what, this is a real pretty rock. I'm just going to take this and go with it. And like, no, there's real gold in there. Keep going. And like, if we could find those opportunities to do that, it makes all the difference in the world. I stopped for several rocks. I have a rock collection, and that's the only reason why I can say so. And it isn't until now that I'm really recognizing that I'm able to be a better person for myself, for my husband, and our children.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what Black Mama Creative Week is all about. Like, you just sums it up in a nutshell. That's really what the week is really all about, is honoring that creative part of who you are. And it helps you be more creative as a mother too. I think you begin not to just limit your creativity to your creative space, but it begins to permeate throughout everything that you do. So I want to pivot a little bit to the podcast. And as someone who doesn't share a lot about my intimate partner relationship, I wonder how because the Mermaid and the Lion is based on your partnership with your husband, right? And so and it's very, I mean,
it's clear, right?
It's clear.
You're right. Clear. It's detail oriented, right?
You're not pulling no punches or leaving nothing out. So I just wonder, what gave you the courage or the motivation to make it about that? Like, you could have done it about anything. And like you said, you have 3 more slated to release in 2022. So, or you could have just wrote a story about a married couple, but you all are very clear that this is about our relationship. So what made you do that? What made you make that choice?
I can't really explain the inspiration to want to do it so badly, other than saying that it was divine driven, because COVID was there and we had no clue how long, when we first started, we just thought that this was going to be a short time thing. But, as the birth out of this was the reminder for my husband and ourselves and myself that we actually loved each other. So on that piece, like going back and revisiting the beginning and everything that we were at that time and actually working together, it was something that I believe was a healing and a saving of our marriage during quarantine, when many couples felt like they had nothing in common. Our pure focus on creating this audio drama reminded us that we were each other's focus, and our marriage and our family was truly the most important thing to us. So that inspiration to do that. But in the end, as I mentioned before, we've had a very unorthodox partnership from the very beginning. And there's been a lot of criticism around my position as his girlfriend, and then moving into being his wife, and what I found acceptable or not. And also his position on what a wife actually looked like. And then both of us having pre-existing expectations, if you will, on what marriage looked like, and not understanding what that was, and putting that on top of each other when we came across immediate tragedy at the beginning, which is season 3. Like, our newlywed year is something special. I'm not that we've had the worst experiences out of anyone else, but I think how we handled them wasn't the best. And if somebody else newly married could listen to Mermaid and the Lion and be like, oh, they're terrible, I'm not going to do that, then we've won something by helping them out. So it's like a opportunity for us to create. My husband and I always do the best when we're creating something together. We had a house fire and we lost everything, and we rebuilt our home together. And that was one of the best times where we were at our closest then as well. But when the house was built, we were like, what do we do now? Or when we were having our daughter, and building that and trying to create a home that made sense, because we already had a son, and making sure that he understood, because I'm not his birth mother, and letting him know how this wasn't changing our love and his importance. And so we were able to work on that. And then it all worked out well, because he immediately went to college almost, right? He was 16 when we had our daughter together. So then he moves on to college, and then it's like, okay, we're not working on that anymore. And now this is something that is never ending. And by creating the production company, we're always able to create together and remain the best self of where we feed off of each other and the best. And then also introducing our kids into what we're doing if they like it. Right, in which they both like it. So it's now a family affair, and an opportunity for them to explore their creative opportunities and sharing, their works of art in this way. Like, my daughter walks around now with her little tablet, recording things and talking to, like, hey guys, I just want to tell you about, this today. I ate this many snacks and this. I'm like, who are you talking to? It's my new show. She has no audience because it's not on YouTube. But, just allowing their imaginations to flourish, because they see us creating and doing something, and they feel comfortable taking those risks themselves.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And having that be your center and your focus, I think can, like, when you remember that, then you don't get caught up in the criticism of what people are saying, because you know what your intention and what your focus is. So I really love that. The other thing about The Mermaid and the Lion is, and this may be a little controversial, so Nikisha, you may have to help me out with the wording. Okay, so this is how I tried to word it. Okay, so the voices in your podcast, that you capture the cadence of Black culture with the voices in your podcast. And I want to know how important that is to you, because listening, it was important to me. I was like, oh, okay. And I know this term is controversial. It sounded like Black folks. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it sounded a particular way, but it sounded like Black folks, and it sounded like a diverse array of Black folks, right? So it just didn't sound one way, but it showed me like the diversity in our cadences as Black people. And I want to know how important that was to you, because as a listener, hearing that kept me, it pulled me in. It pulled me in.
I'm so grateful, because the authenticity was everything to us. was everything to us. I refuse, because that's part of the issues that I've had with some other podcasts that have characters that are people of color, or let's say specifically Black people, and they have someone else do the voice work for them. We see this a lot in animation, and it is also moving into the audio drama space, where you have someone mimicking our tones and inflections, and it's not authentic, and it doesn't feel good to listen to it. Like, okay, they carried it out, or sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was but that's not what we stand for. And also, it's hard to break into this industry. To become a voice artist is very, very difficult. We have a platform where someone can build a resume, and by sharing with us, they can redirect any other opportunity back to us. And that was something for us that was really important, that we were going to be able to create spaces for these Black voices to shine and have the opportunity to say, you might want to give me a chance. You might want to give me a shot to do this. And that's why, like, part of the thing is like, hey, Mermaid and the Lion Entertainment is about highlighting voices of color. Not that I won't ever hire a voice actor that is a white person, because I will, because that needs to be authentic too. If my boss is white, I'm going to make him a white person, because that interaction between him and our color had something to do with it. Right. I'm not colorblind. I see in all colors. I love rainbows. So we're going to represent that in our work. But on my script and my work, all of my key actors, my key voices, and the faces of our product will always be Black people. Because again, my experience of searching for them and the sadness that I felt when I couldn't really find slice of life stories for us was hurtful. And I don't want to be part of that problem. If I'm coming into this space, it's important to me to make sure that I am expanding what Black voices are doing in the industry and space, and giving them multiple opportunities to play roles that are not typecasted. Like you said, like various opportunities to be in specific roles if it makes sense. I'm going to make that a person of color, so that you can see, like, Black people, when we are in this specific role, this is how we behave. When we're front facing, this is how we behave behind closed doors. This is how we feel when we're in these situations. As much as I can expose that, that's really important to me.
I love that. I love your commitment to authenticity. And I love that you're showing that you really are committed to the saying that says a rising tide raises all boats, right? You're committed to extending opportunity and helping other folks to build. Your resume is everything, because somebody then can take that work that they did with you on to get bigger and better, or, go deeper into their career and expand in ways they couldn't have before they encountered you. So then you become this conduit to change, to exposure, to growth, to expansion. You know what?
Look,
take my money. What do I get?
Hold me, because you reached into my heart for all of that. That is like, that's just like everything, being that conduit. Because we talked about like, oh, maybe we can be like a broker, and I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. But we can give all those people who are scared, who don't have the opportunity, can't invest in high dollar equipment, but we can show you what to do to make you sound good enough for us, the chance to put your voice on something. And now you can say that you've done it. And that makes all the difference in the world, for someone to be able to go somewhere and hear you.
Tracy Wilson says that she was a former guest on Mermaid and the Lion, #famous. And I feel some type of way about this, because where is the casting going on at? I know Tracy, and Tracy didn't send no messages that she was auditioning. So where?
So Tracy.
So how do you all cast for Mermaid and the Lion? What is the process like for casting for an audio drama?
So I'm going to say that Mermaid and the Lion for season 3, we're going to be doing this a bit differently than we've done in the past. We are going to put out a casting call, but I didn't ever feel comfortable putting out a casting call if I wasn't going to be able to offer something monetary in return. That didn't feel right to me. So I did things like reach out to my friends, because we have a mutual friend, Tracy, right? So she has been so kind, and she's done voice work for us twice. And it meant everything for her to contribute and be on the show, to do those pieces. So number one, I was reaching out to my friends. Then Clubhouse was a really, really great avenue for us.
I was going to ask you if you use Clubhouse. I've sat through auditions for Broadway shows, all sorts of things. It's a really great tool for that. Yeah. Fantastic.
And I was part of Clubhouse before. Now I feel like it's so popular, you know, like I came like November-ish onto Clubhouse when it was much smaller. Like being in a room with 200 people on a simple, you know, title was really easy back then. And I was able to grow, like within 2 weeks, I had like 3,000 followers. Right now I only have like 3,500, but they mostly came during that initial bucket when I was talking about The Forgiven and what was coming up, and that Mermaid and the Lion was going to have opportunities for voice work, and everyone was interested. So I was able to build a database of people to reach out to when it was time. So that was the way. But this time I am not going to be able to pay a lot, but I can do a casting call. Because if I'm going on Fiverr for fill-in voices, then I can put out a casting call as long as everybody is still cool with Fiverr rates, right? So that's something that we could talk about, you know, for each individual, because paying this out of pocket, like my husband and I both work regular jobs with regular incomes, and our Patreon is not huge. Okay. We got less than 20 people in Patreon. So we're not making money to where we really are able to fund it. We're funding it out of our pocket because we believe in what we're doing. And we also believe that one day we'll be able to eat out of this because we are investing so much. And I believe that if you're faithful with little, that God will bless you with much. And so we're trying to be faithful through the storms of like, well, do you want to have pizza tonight, or do you want to pay for this voice? What's it going to be? Those types of things. So this year there will be a casting call for Mermaid and the Lion season 3. We plan on coming out in August. So the casting call is going to be coming out around the 15th of this month for the voices that we need.
Well, add me to the list, because I definitely want to be on. And
I got a voice for you. I got a voice for you.
I will donate my voice. This will be my contribution. I'm willing to donate these vocals. I really, really am. Like, you just don't understand. Like, I'm such a like, Turner movie classics is like my shit. Like, I love Turner movie classics. So I love things that harken back to like old school Hollywood or old school entertainment. So
Yes.
I'm such a fan, so I'm willing to donate my vocals.
I appreciate you. We take all free voices.
What were you gonna say, Keish?
Well, you know what, a little off topic here, but listening to Angel speak, I was reminded, I shared with you all, my co-host this week, a link to a live that Tabitha Brown did talking about retiring her husband, which was like, what now? You did what? Say what, sis? Okay. So part of that, it rose up as you were speaking, Angel, is because he supported her. He worked really hard and said, you know, you go pursue your dream, do the thing you need to do. I'm gonna keep this 9 to 5, you know what I mean? And hold us down while you pursue your dreams. And she was hoping that one day she'd be able to return that, exchange that in the same way, and say, okay, now you can come home because I got this. And that was based on her manifesting it. At the end of the video, she shows herself saying in 2017 that she wrote in her journal, I want to retire him in 5 years. I want to get to this. And she did it. And so I hear you manifesting already, like, we want to get to this place. We want to be able to eat. We want to help others eat. And we believe that, like Mama said, we manifest things every single day. So I absolutely see that happening to you. And we'll run this tape back in a few years when it happens.
I love affirmation. Amen. Receive.
Yes.
What showing it on it, right?
So what is the process of you creating, let's say, a season? Like, you know, like, yeah, just what is the process of you creating a season of an audio drama? Because I hearken it to, like, I feel like if you're interested in writing serial television, like if you're interested in writing, you know, a series, then this could actually, I in my post, I put that I love to explore other avenues of getting our stories out that don't have to go through traditional systems and institutions. So if you're a person who is interested in writing, like I read about this woman, or I heard on a podcast about this woman who she had an idea for a sitcom, and she could never, you know, get anyone to pick it up, and to produce it herself, it would cost a lot of money. So she turned it into an audio drama. So I feel like this could be like a great avenue for people who are out there, who have those ideas, and may want to take an untraditional route. So if you could take us through what is the process of creating a season for an audio.
I would like to say that I don't think that there's an actual right way, but you definitely have to be organized. If you don't know the end when you're beginning, you're going to have some serious issues with this type of work. So number one, I approach it like I was writing a book before. I never began a piece of work without doing an outline all the way through. So if I can't do a episode 1 through whatever, and I know where the end is, then I'm not ready to start. And that's for anything that we've done. Like, hey, where do we want this to go? Like, where do we want to leave off? Even if the story isn't complete, where are we trying this particular season? And how many episodes do we want to tell this story in? Because that's also something that's kind of difficult, to make sure that you don't have episodes that kind of feel like fluff, and you're really giving some sort of meat or some sort of message along each way. So that was another piece that we instituted. Like, hey, what is the takeaway from each of these pieces, and why do we want to tell the story in this particular way? Like, why are these scenes important to communicate for the long haul? Because, maybe in season 5, we think it's going to impact this way, or if this didn't happen, such and such wouldn't have occurred later on. Like, why do we want to include those things? So always start with an outline that says, hey, this is the story I want to tell, and this is the message behind it. I think that messaging is important in our storytelling versus just telling the story. You can't connect. You're not going to have the same level of passion. And it's going to feel kind of stale. Like when you watch certain shows or movies, you're like, this should have been good, but why wasn't it? It's probably because they didn't take the time to really think about, like your mission vision statement. When you have an organization, your work needs that too. So like, what's our mission and vision for this season? What are we communicating? How many stories do we need to tell to reach this? And what scenes tell these stories the best? And that's kind of like how we do. So we do an outline. Then I write everything, and I count how we have a time frame. Like, how long do we want to invest? We want strong listen through rates, but because that means that the people are engaged. Like if we're putting something out there that's too long, they're like, I'll listen to this next week. I don't want that feeling either. I want them to feel like they're satisfied, but they would like to have dessert. So that means that you're going to come back next time. So what's that right time? So we think that 12 to 15 minutes is that good spot to get people feeling like, okay, I feel full enough and I'm going to come back and I don't feel cheated also.
Yeah, I found that very interesting when I noticed that the episodes, some of them I think may have been like under 10 minutes. I can't remember.
Yes, some of them were under 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We're still learning.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, these things are not, and that's how I did feel. I felt like, man, I want this to be longer. Which did keep me listening. And so the episodes, and for a lot of audio dramas, most of the ones that I listened to, none of them were over 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's really, 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 really short content. So how long does it take you to create that 20-minute episode?
I look right now, I wish Gazza was a mama so he could come on and talk about his thing. Because for each 1 minute of content is 3 hours of editing. And that's on good days. 3 hours of editing for 1 minute of produced content. That's how long it really is taking. So it's another full-time job. So when I say we don't sleep, we're really not sleeping. But right now we have Mermaid and the Lion kind of down to a science so it's not as long. Like we know also there's that we're kind of the voices. So when we're in the room together, those scenes don't require a lot of editing because we're able to do our pacing and our timing and play off of one another. And we'll do as many takes as necessary so that the scene feels right, versus when we have sent in audio, right? You need to line that up and you need to maybe add something to their voice to try to pull out that passion of that. So we'll add bass to a voice. It's something else that's called brightening that my husband is probably going to be like, you still didn't describe it right. But like really trying to like lighten their tone so that everyone blends well in the scene as well as with the background, and you still feel the emotion in that, because that's the other thing. Also, it's really difficult in audio dramas, and it's something that Gaz and I are learning. You have to overact. You don't have the visual stimulation to rely on to tell your story, right? I can't look into your eyes and say, oh, wow, she's sad. And I don't have that person's body language to say that they're angry or, how they're stirring their straw. None of that stuff you can't convey that unless you're narrating, and you don't want a heavily narrated project. You want them to feel like they're embedded in the scene and the sounds. If they close their eyes, they're completing the story. That's why I love audio drama so much. It is the story that your audience has full participation, because when they close their eyes, they get to create the visual of what that ending is. And the voices are just continuing to paint the pictures on their wall. Like, oh, I imagine this room being like cold and still when this happened. And, they're able to fill in those pieces that watching television takes away from you. Because now you know what Susie looks like for sure. And now you're comparing yourself to her, or you decided that you didn't like her because she kept wiping her nose this way or that. You don't have any of those pieces. All you have is the audio to tell your brain if you like them or not. And then now you're able to connect with them genuinely, like their voice sounds trustworthy, right? Or their voice sounds like they're a terrible person. So those are the kind of things that I really enjoy about it, because your imagination still plays a part when audio. And I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. So in terms of recording, you all are, when you choose the person who does the voice, you send that to them and they record it on their own. So they're not getting any interaction necessarily from other people.
Nope. No interaction from other people, which is also something that's changing for season 3. We're going to do Zoom rehearsals this time, because the send backs, like, hey, your energy is bad, buddy. This ain't it. Especially in The Forgiven, I was like, Lord have mercy, sir. Do you know what anger is? Let's talk a little bit. Your wife just told you were stupid and that her last boyfriend is who she should have married. Come with that. That's it. That's the energy that I need. I want you enraged. And they're like, well, I feel stupid, but when we do it back and forth with each other, they were able to bring that. So I was like, oh, this type of coaching and connection is necessary. Because number one, if I want to use novice individuals, I have to be there to support them through their journey real time. And if they have the equipment, then maybe they can have their mic already set up and they can do the recording. I'm like, hey, this is the take to go ahead and send me. So we're going to see how that works. And then the people who have already worked with us, we're good. Like, I don't know if Harlem is still in here. Like, I don't ever have to tell him anything. He brings it each and every time. Like, hey, this person is an idiot. And he'll come with an idiot tone just for me. I'm like, thank you so much. And then we could go from there.
So do you write all the scripts before you start recording? Or, oh, wow.
100% of the scripts are written before we record, and we try to have the season done before we release. So we've only achieved that with The Forgiven. Mermaid and the Lion, we normally are about 6 episodes lag. So we have 6 in and then we're coming. But this year we're not coming out at all unless we have all of it done. But also we're getting a lot of nasty emails about what's taking so long. So we'll see. I don't want anybody like totally mad at me. Because we also have other projects that we feel are real important right now. Ever since last year, we live in, this is going to sound weird, one of the blackest cities in Georgia. And we really are trying to take the time to highlight that. We think it's important we feel like no one could do it like us either. So we're trying to, no man can serve 2 masters. So what's going to take the back seat? So if we could just get at least probably 8 Mermaid and the Lion episodes done, then we're going to go ahead and come out in August.
Leroy says, nope, I bring 100% every single time. So.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single time. If you guys ever listen to The Forgiven, Haters Are Gonna Hate, he played Ruben, and that yell at the end was like, that was authentically him. That was not a sound or anything. I was like, hey, you're in pain of seeing your brother go, and he bodied that.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear it. Listen, just listening to you really is exciting because of how passionate you are about your craft, but also about how you carry a spirit of excellence. How you want it to be a certain way, and you're not going to settle for less. It's very, very clear in the way that you talk about the work and the hours you're putting into 1 minute of content. There's no mistaking that when you listen to The Mermaid, The Lion, when you listen to The Forgiven, and all the other ones that are to come, you are going to get quality listening, and it will be time well spent. I just want to say that, for any of our listeners who haven't caught it yet, you heard it here.
I
This
thank
is
you
the
guys
real deal.
both. Thank you for the high praise, because we feel like our season one, like you guys said, who was it? Tyra Banks Weave. Yeah, we go back and we listen. We were like, did we know what we were doing? No, we didn't know.
Because it sounds so good. Season
It,
1 sounds so good to me. I mean,
well, wait till season 3, because we've learned so much. And also, Gazza has taken the time to start learning binaural sound. We've introduced some of that. And binaural sound is like perspective listening. So now there's distance. So if someone is at the door, but we want you to feel like you are with the character that is sitting at a desk, you're going to hear that person like, 10, 15 feet away, and the reverb in the spaces as well. And also like that left to right. So during conversations, the main character is always in your right ear and the other character is always in your left, so that you have that tug of war back and forth. Also, like having someone like sitting like at the center of your head or behind you. So we have to give warnings like if you're driving and you hear a loud crash, because it's all over. Because, at that particular case, like Gazza might move it all the way around you. You're driving, you're looking all around like, what's going on? And it's nothing, it's really the audio. So those kinds of things. So we're real excited to introduce those pieces into it. And we sprinkled it a little bit inside of The Forgiven. And we have the children's podcast that's coming out, where it's going to have light binaural sound for them. So we think that's going to be a real exciting experience for kids to have a true audio drama that is by Black people for it, because there's other ones out there, but with young Black voices telling stories of excellence. And that's so important. So that one we're going to start reaching out as well. So we want to expose careers to young Black kids and through the art of audio drama. So that's
Listen, wait a minute. I was about to say my kids will be the listeners, because they listen to stories, going to bed, waking up. They're listening to stories always. But I got 1,000 kids and they need to work. So if you need some actors, they got varying tonations.
Like I heard that you guys got upgraded equipment. So let's hear the kids, right? So all of that.
I got you. You need some kid actors. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the projects that are coming out next year, where it's going to take a lot of work and time, because I don't know about all the careers. So I'm going to have to get, different contributors to help educate me to make sure that I'm putting it together well, because something similar to what you guys do within Black Mamas and helping moms understand the excellence in our flaws, right? So if you have a kid, he's really bad, he's always playing with fire. Well, maybe if we talk to him about the careers that use fire in a productive way to help him understand that this desire in you has a place, and now you could try to channel that energy to learning more about how to use it properly and to do it, like, those types of things. Or like, I really want to tackle mischief and what we consider quote unquote bad kids and turn it around into opportunities for excellence and building careers or businesses out of those things that we want to say are naughty.
I love that. So wow, you've talked about oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I'm still stuck on the sound. The sound piece.
Binaural sound. Yeah.
Right.
3D sound.
Yeah, because I don't like that in television either. Like I can notice in television when I'm like, oh, hey, this person's supposed to be far away, but they don't sound far away. Like I'm binging a show right now where the acting is absolutely terrible, but I'm addicted because it's a mystery in the show. So I keep watching it, even though it's really, really terrible. It's so bad. And there are things like that I'm like, that's not right. It's not right.
To do in stereo, we've realized like doing audio in stereo was a disservice to our listeners, but also Black people aren't used to this medium. So we have to spend time educating our audience and educating people who are coming into the space about what's all out there. Like other people in school and stuff like that, they introduce them to these things, and you'll be surprised. Like for instance, you said you found a lot of Black audio dramas. Truly, there's only 89. There's 25,000 audio dramas out there,
and I only found 15.
Oh, see, okay.
I only found 15.
And those 89 doesn't mean that there's Black people acting in it, that means that there is some sort of connection to a Black person. So a Black person produced it, or there was a Black character or something like that. So even take it that far back, that's how it's even to 89. So where it's produced and created by Black people, there's only 37. So we're really, really, really small in the space, and it's already difficult to get exposure as a podcaster. And then you have this new medium, and people are like, oh, well, I don't think I like narrative podcasts, and trying to say like, hey, you need to give it a chance. This is a different experience than what you're used to. It's like audiobooks on steroids, like it's a less of a narrative experience, even though it's called a narrative podcast. So taking the time to try to help people understand what it is already a lot of time spent.
Yeah, I like the term audio drama better than I like narrative podcast. And
Right.
when I only found 15, and each list I would go to, it would be like a variation on the 15 that I found.
Right.
But I feel that we're such innate storytellers that this is a medium that we can really, really come into and really, really expand. And so with that being said, where do you see audio dramas 10 years from now?
If we can educate more Black podcasters about what it is. Secondly, if we could get more Black podcasters able to invest in doing what's necessary to be competitive so that we can move into those spaces, because theoretically we're competing against strong brand sound and real actors doing this work. So it's a real difficult thing. So investing the time, again, already podcasting is a lot of work when you're doing it interview based. Even doing a solo pod is just a lot. The research, all that. So you have to do you have to research, then you have to write a script, then you have to curate voices, and everyone isn't reliable, even when you pay them. All of those other pieces that make audio dramas so much bigger. If we can get more people passionate about it, because it's the passion that's going to drive you, period. It has to be, or you're really rich. Hey, if you're really rich, please come also. We need rich Black voices too. So, but if we can, I think that it's going to be a slow matriculation, but within 10 years, I believe that we could be somewhere in the 15% of all audio dramas out there, as long as there's more people like me. I have to give shout out where it's due, like more people like Experience J, who's doing the good work of being at all of these conferences and talking about being a Black independent audio drama creator. More people who have big audiences, like Black Widow podcast. It's erotic, but he has a large audience. And if he starts talking to his audience about binaural sound, or encouraging other podcasters that listen to him about the ability that they can do it, or Faith McQuinn, who has one of the largest, and hers is not necessarily Black, it's called Boom, is one of the largest and best audio dramas that are out there, and it's not a Black one, but it was created by a Black woman, and she's a phenomenal writer, and she has a new one coming out that's science fiction, where we're not in that space. Black people are not in the sci-fi space, and that's where the big audiences are. Mystery, horror, science fiction, if we could transition over there, but the equipment to do that kind of work is very expensive. The software, already, not like, I hope Gazza doesn't get mad if he's listening, but really $10,000 in software to try to make this work. And that's a huge investment. But if you have a college student, use your college students to your advantage, because they can get access to these tools at a different rate than what you do buying at a market as a business. So education, I think, is key. We need to spend more time doing things like this. So I'm honored to be here. The more conferences, the more opportunities to talk about what audio dramas are, exposing new people one by one. 15% in 10 years.
And Boom is a really good audio drama. It's really, really good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are delighted to have you. I love what you're doing. Whenever whenever those two new ones come up, please hit us up so that we can help you promote and let people know what you're doing. So, and don't forget, I'm willing to lend my vocals, and Nikisha's willing to
please
lend.
know. I know that you can't see the notepad, but please know that your DM is slid. Oh, I have your
Okay.
email.
Yeah, you got my email.
You're about to get emailed, man.
You got my email. You got my email. You got my email.
I'm totally connected. Yeah, watch
you got
out.
My email. People don't even know, but like, you know, I started out as a theater major, ended up as a film major, so I act and everything. So yeah, I'm ready.
Don't tease somebody who's desperate.
Like,
she's ready, and she means it. She's definitely serious. I'm also serious about all these kids.
Wait. Were you saying that you had hella kids, but you really only have 2, or was that someone else?
No.
Nikisha got
I got 4. I got 4.
Oh, Nikisha got 4 kids.
Yeah.
That's the
namaste.
Yeah, she in the hella kid category.
I am.
Absolutely.
They're banging on the door. Help. Somebody help, please.
So, Angel, where can people find you? And what do you have coming up next?
Absolutely. So you can find us at www.themermaid-and-the-lion.com. We have merch. We have you can listen to the podcast there. You can also go to www.theforgivenpodcast.com. And, you know, my husband says that we need to merge them, but they are standalone right now. And, we have, again, a community-based podcast. That's what's next, is our community-based podcast that we have coming about our city, about being one of the oldest Black cities in Georgia and one of the places that the free slaves first settled in Georgia. So there's a lot of history here. New Black Wall Street market is opening here. So you guys may have seen that floating around.
I know exactly where you are. Where you are.
Yeah. Right. So we're excited about that. And I think that this is a great opportunity for us to shed light on the median income being $87,000. Like, Black people aren't always like broken, limping, and poor. Like, let's talk about what we have and what we can contribute when we support one another. So we think it's important to highlight what's available here for everyone. So there's all income levels, right? That's just the median, right? So there's 50% or higher, 50% or below. Mm-hmm. But I still want to say that there's Black excellence in this space, and there's all income levels. And then Mermaid-Lion season 3, of course, new artists, new music, like you said. So we have new music, a new theme song for this particular season. So we're excited.
Okay. Fancy. Okay.
So we're excited about that. And also some artists who were on season 1 that weren't in season 2, they have new EPs that drop. So we're going to be sharing that, and we're totally excited. That's the other part that we love. And that's being able to share about, you know, being an independent anything is so hard. And as much as we can give, there's an author who I am going to be like pseudo reading her book, because like she's so beautiful, and what she's doing, her poems are so impactful. And I think they mean so much. So integrating that into the story to help give her exposure as well. Those are things that we're trying to do this year.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for watching. This is our last live for Black Mama Creative Week. Our workshop for tomorrow is postponed. We will be doing it, but we won't be doing it tomorrow because, again, our co-host Thea Monye is under the weather, so we're postponing that. But what we will be doing is releasing episodes for the remainder of the week. So we'll be dropping an episode tomorrow, dropping an episode on Wednesday, and then dropping an episode on Sunday to close out Black Mama Creative Week. And I know Sunday isn't in the week, but I needed a little bit of time with the editing and to explain that to y'all. Now I got 2 on deck, and then you'll get another one on Sunday. Okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for rocking with us. We really, really appreciate you. I love what you're doing in the space. And it's so inspirational. It's so inspirational.
Thank you for seeing me. When you reached out to me, I couldn't believe it. I was like,
oh, of course.
That was everything. I'm honored. Thank you. You guys are queens. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a love circle.
Right.
That's what it is.
Again, how many times have I hugged you through this computer? You're probably tired.
All right.
So have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.